Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Muriel, this is Nurse Muriel, and I know I dropped a video earlier, but I'm at work. I'm working a night shift, y'all. Um, Again, welcome to my new subbies. I really appreciate it. Hey to my oldies but goodies. I decided to do a couple of these videos while I'm at work because y'all always see me in the car and everything. I never really make videos when I'm working, and yes, I do work. I am in the med room of it. Yeah, I can't even show y'all some of the IV medications. I'm working tonight doing an 8-hour shift, and I actually have 5 patients with PICC lines, y'all, in long-term care. Now, that's nothing new. There's nothing new at all. Nothing new. It's happened. There are some skills that you can gain working in long-term care. And the floor I am on tonight, I'm the only nurse. I have 5 PICC lines. Uh, One thing about this facility, I was trying to get in at this facility since like 2021 because it's one of the higher paying through the agency, and it's right here in the city I live. And when I tried to come through here, when I tried to come here, it was 2021 or 2022, they would not accept me. I did everything, passed drug tests, did all that good stuff they want you to do, and they would not accept me, y'all. They would not let me work here. And I was thinking maybe it's because I used to work here as staff, because I had another nurse told me that she wasn't allowed to come here. She had worked here years ago. So I got hit up by the agency, and I would get like all the announcements for all the facilities. And so one day I never would respond to this facility when it came through. And so I finally responded this one day. I responded and I was like, they don't accept me there. And she was like, oh, I had gotten you approved. Y'all, when she said that, I was like, okay, definitely. I was able to get you approved. I was like, oh, okay. So I wasn't able to work that particular shift that they needed, but I was able to grab this one. Y'all, this facility does 8-hour shifts. It is the highest paying facility through the agencies that I work. I can actually do this. I can actually just come here and not take that drive. This facility is only like 25 minutes away from my house. I can actually come work here, knock out some doubles, and do 2 doubles and make more money than I would doing 3 12-hour shifts where I work. So I'm going to look into it. The only thing I'm a little discouraged about is I already have my March schedule made, and I don't want to call out in all those places. I don't want to cancel on them just to come here, but honestly, it's more convenient for me to be 25 minutes away than to drive an hour and 40 minutes. But anywho, that's not really what this video is about. So I wanted to jump on here and make this video because, y'all know I like long-term care. Now, one thing y'all know is I don't want to work, period. Like, I really want to put my all into my business. If I'm going to work in healthcare, I am not opposed to long-term care. Y'all know I advocate for long-term care. But what I noticed is I see a lot of people on YouTube who hate long-term care, and nothing wrong with hating it. It's not for everybody. It's not. They hate long-term care, and the ones who, I can understand. There's nothing wrong with hating long-term care, because y'all know I hate acute care. I make it plainly obvious. I state it. I don't, say it in every video, but I say I don't like acute care. It was very stressful for me. I would cry in the parking lot before it was time to go inside. I talk about how those nurses you hear that are burnt out, those are acute care nurses. Those nurses that are out here, offing themselves, and people are saying they're stressed at work and all kind of stuff. Those are acute care nurses doing it. That's not long-term. You don't really hear of long-term care nurses doing that, So yeah, it's acute care is a very stressful job, and you won't know it until you actually work it. Now, I will say it may be because I was at a level 1 trauma facility. That might be why. But one other thing I don't like is that I'm trapped. I feel trapped inside the building and I can't get out, and I like to have my freedom. Like I said in my earlier video, if I need to take every other hour, if I need to take a 5-minute breather on top of my 30 to 45-minute break, I can do that in long-term care. And that's what's important to me. But I see these videos of these people who say they hate long-term care, they can't do it, they hate it. Fine. No, I ain't saying nothing about that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. My thing is, if you hate something that much and it's causing you that much stress, because some claim that it causes them so much stress, and why do you continue to go and do it? I don't understand. If when I talked about the hospital, y'all, I left. I left that hospital. I worked it for like 9 months to about 10 months, and then C-19 hit, and I left. I left. I knew that was going to be some unbearable stress after when C-19 hit, and I was having 3 or 4 COVID patients at a time. I left. The thing that caused me stress, I got away from it. Now, I did return 18 months later because, you know, the money was a motivator. I'm not going to lie to you. I just felt like I needed to get in on some of the money that they was giving to these nurses. Returned for about 5 or 6 months, and then I took a contract. That contract ended. I did look for a contract for about a week. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When my first and only contract ended with acute care, I might have looked for 2 weeks for another contract, but I really knew that that's not what I wanted to do. So what I did is I aligned myself up with long-term care to make the money that I could possibly make on, you know, the contracts that they were offering at the time. Now, since then, the money has increased for nurses. The money is out there again for travelers. But y'all, I'm not going to put myself through that. I know how mentally draining it was, and I'm not going to put myself through it. I see contracts coming through for $4,000, you know, $4,000, $45,000, $5,000. I'm not going to put myself through that because I know mentally it took a toll on me, and so I just work it out with long-term care. My question is to y'all who hate it so much and say it in almost every video, how you hate it and telling the other people not to work it, and why do you still work it? Like, why do you work it? Why do you put yourself through such mental anguish when you're a nurse? There are several other possibilities and routes you can take. Whether you're LPN or RN, there are several other routes you could take. You don't have to work in long-term care, but you do. So please help me understand, like, even if it's like the money, I mean, you may get $5 to $10 more an hour in long-term care than you would on you know, working in a different specialty. And some other specialties you can get just as much as you get in long-term care. But you you feel like your mental being in all that distress is worth an extra $5 an hour, $10 an hour? Like, do you value the money more than you value your mental stress? Because let me tell you, when I went back to the hospital, had I not gotten a contract, I was going to quit again. Because when I went back, honestly, I worked a night shift originally. And when I went back, I went day shift. I thought day shift was going to be a little easier. I thought it was because I was so sleepy at night. That was the problem. But no, when I went to day shift, I was still stressed, still working harder than I ever worked in long-term care. And had I not got that contract, I was going to quit. And I only went back 2 days a week, y'all. I wasn't even doing full-time. I went back 2 days a week. Had I not got that contract, I was going to quit again because I had already started to feel the stress and the strain. And I'm now a year. It's a year now since I worked in acute care. I have no intentions on going back because every time I even think about, oh, the money is so good. I can make a quick 4,000. Every time I even think about it, it's almost like I get a little headache. And y'all just let me know, if you hate long-term care so much, why do you still show up? Why do you still pick up shifts? Why do you still roll it? Because, you know, if you hate something going through the door, you know, you hate it, you're like, you're putting that energy is just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have that energy walking through the door. Because I used to have that energy walking into the hospital. Like I said, I would cry in the parking lot because I didn't want to be there. But I value my mental enough to let it go. So why don't you just let long-term care go? I mean, if it's that horrible that you're, you know, screaming it to the top of your lungs and just all this stress, let it go. You're not doing them any favors going in there with that attitude, knowing that you hate that place. Me personally, honey, I thrive in long-term care. It's like I'm almost like a queen in the castle. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I can handle it. Had my days where, it has been a bit too much, but them days are like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, they are few and far between. I was stressed like this I was stressed every day walking in the hospital. Every day, because the people are sick. They are putting PCU and step down patients on med surge. Like, people are really sick out there. So, um, you know, I'm all for long term care. Like, I'm like I don't even see where it's that hard, to be honest. And I think a lot of y'all think it's so hard because you haven't worked anywhere else. You haven't done anything else. You roll up into some of them other specialties. Roll into them other only specialty I think that's not is only specialty that I think that may be a little easier than long term care is home health and assisted living. Those are some very chill, very laid back jobs. But those nurses still roll up and work in long term care, but they don't like it. I don't understand. Is it really just about the money? Because if it's just about the money, that's telling me that you value money more than your mental health. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.